One.
And we're back, and there's only 2 to go.
Well, potentially only 1 to go.
That's right.
So we're here finally at the World Series preview show.
That's right.
It took some time to get here, but we're finally here. We had a hell of a season, probably our best season to date.
Talent-wise, I'd say yes. When it comes to talent in the league,
Even competitive-wiseness, only one team sucked.
was right. There was really one bad team, and ironically, it was a team of a captain with a bunch of players. We'll see you guys later, maybe next year, but they've been in the dance. But it comes down to Dub Nation, the Oakland Raiders.
Versus the Gonzaga Bulldogs, the number 1 seed versus the number 2 seed. So how befitting.
Perfect. Now, if you trace back to our preseason picks, we didn't even know what to make of this Oakland Raider team.
Well, if you actually go back to the preseason show and we talked about the Raiders, we said they're either going to be boom or bust.
Right. And they were boom?
They boomed.
Now, a big part of their boom is a familiar face, A.B. Saka.
Right. A.B. Saka on the mound is actually the most important person on the team, not named Nachman Yakubovic.
And he's pitching great. He's battling like he always does. And I would say I'm anchor of the team. Well, he's a captain in his own right in many leagues. So I'm sure he's somebody that Shimmy did lean on. And aside for him, it's Dub Nation.
Right, so Dub Nation ended up being better than advertised. Like we said, the aforementioned Nachman Yakubovic at short. His brother Nusian left, who for most of the year led the league in hitting until he hit a little bit of a slump.
Right, it's funny. Nachman, people look at his numbers regular season. They didn't look that sexy. But you know what? As the season went on, he just became better and better.
Right, and defensively, everyone is already giving him his due. He's the guy. And then also, the unsung hero, Chaim Schoen in right field, plays a really strong right, underrated in the black hole, which is really tough. And, how apropos, they have someone manning the black hole in the Raiders. And
Perfect.
Center field captain Shimmy Cohen.
Held his own in center field.
Shimmy Cohen actually was above average. He was actually, at some nights, he was actually great in center. Has a better arm than most.
Oh, he has a great arm. Very underrated. It's his first time ever playing center in our league. And maybe he plays a little deeper than the average guy, but he gets to everything he has to get to. And that's it.
Butchie at third came up with big hits.
Big hits this year.
Big emergence late here in the playoffs, now in the World Series. ABJ Franco.
Oh boy, ABJ, who came to play in the semifinals.
They may actually lead him off in the World Series. I'm not sure if they're going to tinker with the lineup way too much, but that's how effective he was in the semis, where we will talk about really quickly, I guess, after we preview these teams. First base, we have Ocean, who actually made some amazing, spectacular defensive plays.
Defensively, he took a leap. He went up. Eli Harari, last year, played very strong and just continued his defensive play. Maybe offensively, they want him to step it up a bit. And somebody, an unsung hero on this Dub Nation team that nobody talks about, is Ralph Chiro.
Right, so Ralph Chiro, we know last year in the World Series, the championship team, he actually had big hits, and again, he had big hits in the semis. So
he's like 1 for 3 in every game but that one hit is in the middle of rallies. He's scoring runs.
I'm a big Ralph Chiro guy. I think he brings a lot to the table where you get him in the draft.
That's right, he does. And Shmuel Lewis Patesh rounding off that team at catcher.
And also Halfon.
And Halfon Safdie, who came up with a big hit in the playoffs.
Right, so listen,
I have
overall,
a hunch you might get. That team is complete.
That team has the public perception of the defensive pitching team, and they can hit. But then all of a sudden, you look at the games where they blew out the Cubs in the semis. We know they're capable of actually tattooing the ball.
They could do it. They could do it. A couple guys on base, they could do it. Now, that's their team. Now, to say the 2 most complete teams are in the finals. To the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Right, the Gonzaga. So, again, top to bottom.
A lot more familiar faces on this team going into the season.
A lot less rookies. So.
Yeah, right.
Well, but you know what's funny? Let's start in the outfield. A surprising guy in their team who was drafted in a real good spot was Yossi Abramson. He's also another rookie that actually came in strong.
Potential Gold Glove winner in left field.
Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, very strong.
Center field, we had one of the heroes of last year's World Series and compadre and co-captain / best friend of the captain, Joe Ciferati in center field.
No longer called Pop-Up Joe.
Yeah.
He's been Frozen Rope Joe this year.
Yeah, Joe's been finally living up to what he does in Brooklyn. I think he needed to get comfortable. He was out to prove us wrong, I know, because we were questioning if he was the superstar that everyone made it out. I always knew he was, but he came to play our full season.
Some people don't admit it when they're wrong. I'll be the first to tip my cap. and I gotta say, I eat it up.
And he's a big part of their team, you know. So
oh my goodness, big time.
Right field, they did have Sam Loudon starting there, but I know he's not going to be making it. Unfortunately, he has to be
Maine, I heard.
Yeah, he has a Maine trip. I think he's going geese hunting or something.
Right.
Or
I think
something.
fishing and geese hunting. Yeah. There might be a wedding along the way. But I hope he has a good time.
So subbing for him, we're not even sure how they're going to situate their field. We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah, it's a little later.
Now into the infield. First base, I believe they're going to actually have
David Shrem back
David
there.
Shrem back at first base. That's a possibility. Or they're going to mix up their field.
Ike Mavora is stated, already announced, as subbing for the Salim Levy. He's coming off injury. That might be part of the reason he's not there.
Salim did have a meniscus injury. He has other things he has that unfortunately he couldn't make it either. We don't like talking about people that can't make it, but 22 of 24 guys are there, so that's what we're going to be doing.
Ike Mavora, who subbed for Salim in the semifinals.
Right, so he's already actually a part of that team a little bit. He actually helped them get to the World Series. So Ike is going to be playing first base, we believe.
Maybe. We don't know.
Or maybe he'll be elsewhere. Maybe they'll put him in the outfield. I'm not sure.
Ruby Sacco was a glue defensive guy on this team. He could play the outfield or the infield. He's got great hands wherever you put him. Barry Anteby. I hear he bought stock in Red Bull.
Yeah, and 5 Hour Energy, etc. He's also going to buy some toothpicks to put it on his eyes, keep it open.
Right.
Barry's going to be there ready, hopefully not too amped after all that energy you're going to be drinking.
Because when he's a bat in that lineup,
they need him. You know, it's funny, all kidding aside about Barry, they need his bat.
Oh, big time.
Barry back in the day, we're only talking about 5-6 years ago, was a bona fide 4-hitter where he was hitting 20 plus RBIs a year. All they need him is one night to have that type of
he has those vintage nice line drive right side, and those could bring home runs.
Barry's got pop. Barry, and then
Stephen Gindy.
Stephen, obviously, who is the glue to their team. He's the leader. He's, I would say, probably pound for pound the best captain this year. All inclusive.
Right.
Defensively, offensively.
Right. Even when he went through a little bit of an offensive slump, but still as a captain.
I'm talking about captain-wise, keeping his team together.
The team together is great. Catching Joey Levy.
Right. So Joey's underrated what he's doing for that team.
My goodness. By the way, clutch hits
to the left side. Those little bloops over shortstop.
He's getting on base. He's a little. And now this is a team that's not loaded with speed. The top 4 in their lineup.
Also about their pitcher as well.
Of course. So Ralph Hannon, who's the lead MVP vote getter, like you mentioned in earlier videos. He's really been their most valuable player.
So Ralph Hannon is in top 2-3 statistically in offense and pitching, and he's probably the difference maker on that team right now. So, they're a good team, but he takes them and puts them over the top.
He's the pitcher, throwing heat, and in the semifinal series, he was getting guys out. He got Michael Cohen and Solly Cohen out.
Right, he was pitching with a purpose.
Yeah, it wasn't like
he wasn't throwing; he was pitching. It's a big difference.
There wasn't like 5 bombs that were caught. He got these guys out, flying out, lazy flies, weak ground balls. Ralph is really
and that's
pitching.
only one aspect of his game. He's also batting fourth and driving in runs,
and he's got speed too. So now this is a team. If you want to look for the weakness on their team, I think they're a little slow on the back end. Joseph Ferrati, Stephen Gindy, Ralph Hannon,
Speed, Abramson. Also, you have to mention a guy like Bernie Pindek, who actually, late round picked, but he's been a big hitter on their team.
Big hits. You know what? They relied on them this year. He got some big hits for them.
So he's a guy that they hope the big lights of the World Series don't shine too bright where he cowers away, because they're actually going to need his bat in the end of the lineup.
True,
and also Stoli Torgerman, maybe he'll finally step up here in the big game and he'll make up for his subpar offensive year.
Defensively, Stoli Torgerman stepped up for them.
Yeah.
This year, he had moments of lackadaisicalness, but when he had to play, he come up with some really nice defensive plays.
This is where the captaining of Stephen Gindy comes in an important way, because I believe Stephen brings the most out of his players.
But like Bernie Pindek had a very tough 10 minutes playing defense.
But Stephen stuck with him. And
he came through with big hits, put him right back out there. Which goes on what
I'm saying about being a good captain.
That's right.
So
instills confidence.
These are the 2 teams, and those 2 teams will be playing for this. This is the M&S Cup. We have the previous 9 World Series champions listed on it. This year, the 10th anniversary World Series edition, we're going to be looking to put right over here, prominently over there.
We have some special stuff looking forward because it's 10th anniversary.
We really have a really fun night planned. This Saturday night, it'll be called the Saturday Night Main Event.
That's right.
Opening pitch will be thrown by the father of M&S, our dad, Jack Sutton. He'll be throwing opening pitch, and rumors have it that our mom will also be throwing side-by-side strikes for both boys.
We hope that could happen.
That's out of the ceremonial first pitch thing, but Also, we have some special guest entertainment.
Right, 2015 batting average batting champ may be coming with his guitar and sound system.
He's also the starting second baseman of Dub Nation.
That's right.
A.B. Franco. A.B. Franco, better known, also lead guitarist in his band, performer extraordinaire. Really plays any instrument you asked him to, but he's really damn good on the guitar.
He's incredible.
A.B. Franco will be bringing. We have tentatively booked with the amplifier with his electric guitar, and he'll be playing the anthem and "O Canada" for the Yakubovich teammates.
We have Hatikva. Rumor has it that we're in negotiations with Nehemiah Katz.
So contract negotiations have gone a little sour lately, but he's 50-50. We're trying to book him for the night. Our very own Nemi Katz, also wedding singer and also hopefully budding star singer Katz will be playing singing Hatikva with electric guitar, guitarist in the background, A.B. Franco. It should make some awesome performances.
Yeah,
it also adds to it. Opening lineups will be special. Really fun night ahead of us. We're looking forward.
Looking forward in a big way. An amazing stat that was brought up. I don't remember who brought it up first. That's very intriguing going into this World Series.
I think it may have been Berry, actually.
Berry. There's 9 previous winners in M&S. The rosters do change every year. And we have a lot of new players that come in and out. But for the most part, there's been a core out of about 85 players every year. I'd say 40 to 50 are in the same ball players. It's an amazing thing that
it actually statistically is almost impossible.
It's almost impossible. We have 9 previous years of M&S history, and the World Series winning pitcher has been a
different person on the mound every year.
That's incredible.
So this year we have an opportunity for that trend to change if Gonzaga wins, because Ralph Hannon was the champion 2 years ago of winner,
correct,
where he was on the mound, and this would be the second time, and that would change. But if Dub Nation does win and A.B. Sack is the starting pitcher, we'll have 10 different years of 10 different starting pitchers, and that's a statistical anomaly, if you ask me.
So if you ask me, I'll say it now. I'm going to make my pick for next year.
Oh, you're making your pick for
right now. No, next year's pick. If A.B. Saka wins this year, I'm picking Maxi D to win next year.
There you go, because that'll be another one. That's crazy.
Be another one. But,
so I think, are we at the portion of the show where we're going to be actually, I guess, making the predictions of what we think is going to happen?
Who wants to go first?
So you go first.
So I'm going to go first, fine. After a lot of thought, again, this is going to be a fun night.
Oh, we had a lot of time to think about this also.
Oh, boy.
Well, if you want to, before we make predictions, we actually could talk about what led up to this time and why the delay actually happened.
Well, that's right. And a big thing. I mean, there's been before the season, people give their dates. But when something gets sprung upon you, shockingly, Ralph Hannon calls us literally 5 minutes before Shabbat on a Friday.
Hannon the hero.
Hannon the hero. Puts on his cape and flies out, yes, you're hearing me correctly, to Houston, Texas.
Well, most of you are aware because you see it on Instagram, you see it on the League Blast. But he was flown out to Hannon Helps Harvey, as we hashtagged. Hannon flew out there. Really, God bless him. He helped with our brothers in time and need.
Yes,
with their house got
with
demolished.
His boss, with Isaac Mavora. And yeah, we showed some footage. There's a lot more footage that we didn't provide. Some of it maybe wasn't appropriate. People getting pulled out of water,
pregnant women, babies, etc.
It was crazy. Birth waters, it was a little gross, but God bless Ralph for doing what he did. It did have to postpone the World Series this past week.
That kind of blacked out a full week. We were supposed to be playing on Tuesday, but no harm, no foul. We're playing Tuesday. We were supposed to play Tuesday. We're playing Saturday evening now, like we mentioned, and if those games split, we don't know. We'll figure out when the third game will be.
Do they want to play that night? We'll talk. Do they want to wait and find out and try to find another date? It's been hard to find a date between people.
Can't pacify everyone. There's market week that'll be blocked out the following week. We had the previous week. People were away traveling. So
people traveling to Uman for the holidays.
Things will figure itself out like they always do. I have no problem, and I'm confident that it'll be good. But either way, it led up to this, and the build-up actually was great. There's a lot of talk, a lot of fun banter back and forth, some bad blood brewed over the last few weeks. That's what happens when you actually have a layoff. Some bad blood actually comes. So right now, I know Shimmy and Steven, both 2 weeks ago, were gentlemen and shaking hands. Now we're not seeing eye to eye, which will only make for a fun Saturday night.
By the way, both umpires were already pre-warned that there may be a couple of people getting hit. And from what I hear, the umpires are going to be loose about it. So we do have helmets, if you feel like you may need one.
We even have pitchers masks.
Yes, we have pitchers as well. So if you feel like the opposing, and both these pitchers could throw some heat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something on your own accord. You got to be aware. Umpires, Tommy and Mike are going to be there, ready for a really fun, explosive night.
All right, without further ado, let's make our picks.
So my pick, I'm going with some veterans. What I mean by veterans are guys that know this league, guys that know what the World Series is about.
You're leaning on the experience.
I'm leaning on the experience of the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Wow, okay.
Now, that's not just on the pitcher, because A.B. Saka has been in big games more probably than Ralph Hannon has in other leagues, and he's got the experience. But I'm talking about the whole team. Stephen Gindy, you keep mentioning the way he's a captain. Joseph Arati, just this past year.
Champion, right?
Ralph Hannon, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's guys, Ike Mavoro.
David Shrem has 4 championships.
He's going for number 4
Going
this
for number
year.
4. He's a veteran of veterans.
He's going for number 4. So they do have a lot of experience on their team, and I think. And by the way, Joey Levy, don't take that lightly. There's a lot of experience in the clubhouse that if there's any sign of adversity, I believe they could nip it in the bud quick.
Which is very true. That's a very important aspect that you can't overlook.
It's 7-inning games.
Right.
Third inning, you're down 3-0. Some guys can unravel the World Series. Oh my gosh! You start thinking these guys. I don't see them getting. I don't see them getting frazzled. Ralph Hannon has a habit, and he himself will tell you that first inning is a little bit of a bugaboo for him. If he could get out of that first inning unscathed, I really, really feel sweet for them to get that first win and then taken away. I don't see bad games. I don't see a blowout.
Well, we can't have bad games for the two best teams.
These are 2 good teams. The only thing, if you really want to say on a whim, what could happen for Gonzaga if there's a negative? Could Ralph lose his control? And you think maybe there was years he walked guys. The way he's been pitching this year, he's been so strong and so filthy.
You got to play into. It's got to be into consideration. He was literally lifting homes and helping for a full week. Tiresome work.
Maybe he'll be exhausted.
He is exhausted. He will be sure. He has the whole Shabbat to Nam just to
he
make
has
sure of it.
Friday and Saturday to really rest.
But mentally, is he there?
I think he's there. I think he's been on FaceTime with his team. From what I heard, Stephen Gindy got a chance to see firsthand what Ralph was doing. Stephen made sure Ralph was wearing gloves and asbestos masks at all time because he wouldn't let him in the clubhouse otherwise. So Ralph will be fine. And he may borrow a 5-hour energy from his teammate at second base, Barry Anthony. Yeah. So I don't think it's a problem.
Barry did buy stock in 5-hour energy.
Again, another veteran, by the way, in Barry Anthony. I don't think the lights will get too loud for him, So I think the team, their veteranship, will come across in a big way. It doesn't put down this other team. I see close games, but sometimes that extra clawing thing maybe is they've been there, done that.
Got it.
So my pick is Gonzaga. How about you?
You're going Bulldogs. So again, after much consideration and after much game taping reviewed and seeing what the strengths of one team are compared to the weakness of the other, I do believe you're right. The Bulldogs are a complete team, but after seeing what. Listen, I'm going to go against you, and I'm not just going against you for the sake of going against you. I really believe in Dub Nation. Dub Nation, in the beginning I thought they might fizzle out after a hot start and after showing everyone that they're real ball players, but the more I see guys like Nachman, guys like Nussi, they don't give a damn. They literally are there. The biggest telltale sign to me that Dub Nation is a team with metal and a team with balls of steel is because when they were down a lot of runs way back in week 3,
they never quit.
They were down, I believe it was like 12-1 or 12-2.
They ended up losing that game.
They did. Yeah. No, they did. I'm going to get to that. But I went to Nachman, all right, you ready to pack it up? He goes, pack it up. It's softball. I'm going to score 10 runs next inning. And they did score 6 runs. They lost about 12-9. But that game showed me, and I made sure to pay close attention for the rest of the season, these guys have no quit. They really have this desire to win. They're playing for their captain. They're playing for pride. They know it's a Syrian league. They have a chip on their shoulder. They also want to show everyone that the Dubs are better than the SYs. They know it. They're very aware of it. And they talk just like when we added Nachman to one of our chats. We saw the big game he spoke about.
He had some personality.
Yeah, 100%. They have
more
spunk.
than anybody thought.
And then he's got spunk. And they're out to prove a lot. Again, I mentioned before, and I'm very impressed with Schoen in right field, Shimmy in center.
You don't think they're going to press in the final?
They're not going to press. They're going to go about their business like everything else. And the biggest factor to this team is A.B. Saka. A.B. Saka in the beginning was trying to feel his way of who this roster was. And once they got comfortable with each other, A.B. and his team, and he became one of them, and he went to Gladbach with them.
Once he was in Gladbach, he became part of the boys.
Once he bought into the program, I said, you know what? This team's a team to be reckoned with. You have that sort sort of experience. And they're not only Dub Nation, they also have guys that we're familiar with. They have the ABJs, they have the Shimmies, they have the Butchies, they have AB, like we said, AB Saka. I think this team has a little bit of an it factor, and obviously I bought the Dub Nation paraphernalia, and I'm going to be supporting Dub Nation from here on out. Dub Nation's my pick. I'm going with Dub Nation in 2. I think they're going to sweep. I think Gonzaga's good. Obviously, the best team in the league all year, but at this point, I think the story's going to just fall up a little short, and they're not going to cross the finish line. 2 well-contested ball games. It's going to be 2 games by a score of like 4-2, 5-1.
You can't imagine there's going to be a blowout.
I think if you're going to set the over-under on the runs, I think if you're going to combine both games, it's going to be less than 15 runs.
Okay, it wouldn't be shocked.
Right, and I believe Dub Nation's going to take the gold, and we're going to actually, it's a shock to the softball universe of our community that these unknowns came in and put together a team, and they're going to be riding all the way to the finish line.
I know last year, Chaz, who we wish for Washington,
feel better, Chaz.
Wasn't in the league this year, used all game tape and watched every single highlight of their opponent, which was the Bills last year. Did either side do that this time around, looking and seeing if there was a team that should do it? Maybe it would be Stephen Gindy, because there's a lot of still. Again, how many times did these Dubs play in this league? 6, 7 times?
Right.
There's still scouting reports on the Dubs aren't as
efficient as you would think.
Exactly, because you don't know a guy's dead pull. We know certain guys are dead pull, not. So that maybe takes a play into it, but I'm still going with my Gonzaga.
So you're going Gonzaga, I'm going Dub Nation. We're going opposite ends over here. Saturday night, hopefully we'll have a resolution. If it goes in a sweep, we'll have an answer. If not, we'll see from there.
Figure out another game.
Next time we'll be on the field, hopefully to hand out this baby over here. It's beautiful as ever, glorious, freshly shined. Really looking forward. It's going to be a really great night. Hopefully to cap off an amazing season. Looking forward.
The field's going to be as better groomed,
dynamic
as ever, because that's a big thing for defense. By the way, we had rain the last couple of days. The ground's going to be soft, and it's going to be very good for the infielders. True hops. Just the way you want it to be.
Exactly. So, that actually favors the Bulldogs with that kind of infield. I know Steven's very into raking the areas and
the field will be raked, will be lined, and I can't wait.
I'm excited. Again, not to take anything away from the Bulldogs. I think they're a damn good team. They're the best team in the league all year. But I just feel like the Cinderella carpet ride feel of Dub Nation, especially the way they won in the semis. I'll touch on that really quick. They were down by a few runs in the 7th inning, and they had to come from behind victory and won in the bottom of the 8th. And they got that feel, and they all have they're riding high, and they're all buying into each other at the right time, getting hot. Listen, I'm confident in my pick in Dub Nation.
Let's find out. There hasn't been a major layoff. Both teams are going to come onto the field and feel very familiar. So it's going to be a brisk night. It's going to be a cold night. It feel like postseason baseball.
Right, listen, this is what it's all about.
This is exactly...
Whoever doesn't come ready to play Saturday night, whatever BS excuse you have, you don't belong here.
Exactly.
This is what we all play for.
This is what the diehards, even if you're not a diehard, World Series baseball. Are you kidding me? If we started at 11, I'd be excited.
All right, looking forward this Saturday night. We'll talk to you after, and may the best team win. Good luck, gentlemen.
Have a great offseason.